Good afternoon. We are Team 7, and we represent the InstaBox company. My name is Sarah, and along with my teammates Stephanie and Bill, we're going to take you inside the supply chain strategy of InstaBox and kind of give you an overview of our successes, failures, and our overall strategy going into the simulation.
Hi, this is Bill. Firm 7's goal was to improve our overall financial, operating, and market performance by designing a supply chain network that was capable of responding to both demand and supply uncertainty. Going into the simulation, our belief was that by implementing a postponement strategy, we could practice product differentiation, thereby alleviating uncertainties in the supply and demand functions. We categorize the set-top boxes as an innovative product based on 3 product characteristics. Number 1, a shorter product life cycle. As you recall, set-top boxes were a 4th generation version of the product. Number 2, a higher demand uncertainty. Because the set-top boxes were categorized as innovative products, this made forecasting demand more difficult. Number 3, a lower supply uncertainty. This is where our implementation of our postponement strategy came into play. With innovative products such as the InstaBox, with a stable supply, a postponement strategy made the most sense to us in order to take the focus and pressure off forecasting and excess inventory.
The primary focus of our strategy was to focus on trends rather than averages. Prior to month 4 and prior to month 8, we used a 3-month moving average to predict future sales. Although this gave us roughly an 80% accuracy, we wanted to do better. We were able to boost our forecasting accuracy by 5 to 10% each month by realizing increased or decreased business as a trend rather than calculating those fluctuations as an average. Also, we kept product 1 and product 2 completely standardized throughout the simulation with very little variation in price. So we were able to obtain a more accurate understanding of true usage at the consumer level. Standardizing our product and not utilizing the postponement strategy like we initially intended to do, we were able to streamline our services to be cost efficient and also support the lean strategy of doing more with less. Although we wanted high reliability in our products, our goals were to maintain extreme low levels of inventory to maximize our revenue and our inventory turnover, which we did have great success at as we're industry leaders in overall revenues throughout 4 months of the simulation. To implement our strategy, we took our forecasted demand into consideration and procured enough raw materials and subassembly components to ensure we held no more than 5% safety stock on hand at all times. In the graph to the right, you can see that we did struggle with our raw material inventory of alpha and beta. It's kind of all over the place. But by month 11 and 12, we were able to get those inventories down to comfortable levels. The mentality in procurement was to utilize a small amount of suppliers to build long-term relationships and obtain preferential treatment to ensure our orders were filled from 1 month to the next. We also fully incorporated IT services with both of our suppliers to maximize collaboration and enhance information sharing.
Our distribution strategy was to maximize sales and profits by optimizing inventory levels and reducing lead times. After month 4, we opened another operated-owned DC in Region 3 because we were experiencing a large sales volume in that region. Opening a DC in Region 3 helped reduce lead times and improve our customer service. We decided to outsource RFID because it was less costly than controlling RFID in-house, and it shifted the risk associated with managing the RFID to our service provider. Cross-docking was enabled at DC3. This helped lower inventory holding costs and DC operating costs because of reduced handling and warehousing. This allowed us to become more responsive and more efficient. We used Carrier M for all shipments, allowing us to receive a 20% rebate. Carrier M was chosen because of reliability and cost. We ship 30% of product 1 by air and 20% of product 2 by air to help reduce our amount of unfilled orders. Our service shipping levels were standard. Our transportation decisions made InstaBox a leader in the industry based on our transportation expenses per unit sold. Our pricing objective was to gain maximum market skimming by focusing on high profits over volume. Our goal was to be the product quality leader in the market. Our prices were used to communicate our value proposition for our products. We dedicated $120,000 each month to each product in each channel in each region for marketing. We needed to heavily promote our product through advertising because consumers are willing to pay higher prices for known products. To increase profits, we needed to reduce our operational costs to gain an advantage. We also needed to maintain our reputation by reducing failure rates and improving customer service. In month 9, we increased our service levels in Region 1 and Region 3, where we experienced more of our call center activities from standard to enhanced to improve customer satisfaction rates. We received our highest customer ratings in month 10.
The Lynx supply chain management simulation provided a very robust capability to those firms that desired to purchase information technology reports and research studies in order to gain access to additional data that could assist them with their input decisions. We decided early on that we would take advantage of synchronizing our information technology with our carriers and suppliers in the hopes of improving our surface transportation reliability rates and bringing our component failure rates down, at least getting it more in line with the industry average. This is one area that we struggled with during our entire duration of the Lynx simulation. And we thought it was important to also look for other opportunities to purchase information technology reports, in which we did, and predominantly it was the procurement transaction report and production cost reports, so that we could analyze, manage, and just look at our cost to ensure that they were in line with where we thought they needed to be, so that we could be competitive with the firms in the Lynx simulation. Also, as far as our research studies were concerned, we decided that to take a wait-and-see approach and analyze the performance evaluation reports and take a hard look at the corporate P&L statements before deciding on purchasing specific research studies. And as we got into the simulation, we gravitated towards research studies that were focused on customer satisfaction, inventory turnover, and failure rates. And those predominantly were our three most areas that we were concerned with, and where we kind of went up and down. So we were always interested in looking at research studies that could assist us in making better decisions so that we can improve our percentages in each of those three categories. Firm 7 learned a great deal from the Lynx simulation. We learned that it's one thing to talk about designing a supply chain network that's efficient and effective and meets the demands of your customers and the demands of supply. But it's another thing when you actually have to take those decisions and input them into a database, as we did here, and then wait for your results, get your results, analyze the data, and find out what you did right and what you didn't do so right. But in our opinion, this is perhaps one of the most productive and challenging simulations that we did, or activities that we engaged in during our semester. You learned. And we learned that you must be willing to adjust your strategy. The industry changes, especially in a global industry where so many variables affect your strategy and how you produce, manufacture, and distribute your product to your customers. So you have to be willing to be a little flexible in your strategy and change as the environment changes. We also learned that a valuable lesson in predicting for the unpredictable. Things are going to happen that perhaps you anticipated, and perhaps maybe you might get caught blindsided and didn't anticipate. So you have to be able to have a set of contingency plans on the shelf there that you could take off and dust it off and implement that strategy if something that catches you totally off guard happens. And as we learned through this simulation, it can and will happen. Also, there is no true right or wrong answer for one size fits all strategy. I mean, what's good for one region may not be good for one of your other regions, especially if you're a global company. One region in Europe, you may do business a little bit differently from the way you do business in a region, say, in South America. So there's no one size fits all approach to that. And once again, you have to be flexible. A push strategy is supported by heavy emphasis on forecasting. And this is one thing that we had numerous conversations on our product. Should it be an innovative or a functional product? And obviously, we went with innovative, but there are differences in the forecasting methods used for innovative versus functional products. And you have to really get down and analyze and look at that. What's the best option there for you? And what is it, a push strategy? Is it a pull strategy? Or is there a combination of push-pull strategies? So very, very important that you sit down and analyze the market forces and the product characteristics to decide that. We did good in our forecasting and return on sales, and I believe Sarah mentioned this previously in one of her slides. There were times that we were in the high 80s in our forecasting, and our return on assets were up there as industry leaders. So we're very proud of that. My teammates did very well in their coming together and looking at things where we could make the best decisions based on the information available to us. And lastly, there always is room for improvement no matter what you do, and there's no difference in this. You have to once again have that flexibility and that ability to change. You can't set up a supply chain network that's so rigid that doesn't allow you the flexibility to change or make improvements as needed, because as we saw with our customer service satisfaction rates at the very beginning, if you don't change, you're going to lose customers. Thank you very much. We enjoyed this simulation, and we appreciate the opportunity to share our results with you.